5 pistols, gone in 48 hours, every single one. Not a sale, not a promotion, just pure, unfiltered demand from shooters who did their research and moved fast. When experienced buyers clear out shelves that quickly, it tells you something the manufacturers won't say out loud. These 5 guns aren't just popular, they're earning it in the real world. The question is, do you know which ones they are? This video is for educational purposes only and does not promote harm or unsafe use of firearms. Number 5. Smith & Wesson M&P 9 Shield Plus. When something sells out in under 48 hours, it's never random, it's a signal. And the Smith & Wesson M&P 9 Shield Plus is one of those signals the market keeps repeating. At first glance, it looks like a simple concealed carry pistol, but that's exactly where most people misjudge it. This gun carries the weight of Smith & Wesson's long-standing defensive legacy, refined into a compact platform that's built for one purpose: everyday survival without compromise. The moment you grip it, the difference becomes obvious. The texture on the frame locks into your hand like it was molded specifically for control under stress. The trigger, one of the biggest upgrades in the Plus version, breaks clean and resets faster than most pistols in its class, giving shooters a sense of speed without losing accuracy. And in real-world defensive scenarios, that balance between control and response time is everything. But here's why it's flying off shelves. It doesn't try to impress with complexity. It wins through simplicity that works under pressure. High-capacity magazines in a slim frame make it feel like a contradiction. Small enough to conceal, yet capable enough to trust completely. Law enforcement backups, civilian carriers, first-time owners, everyone is pulling it in the same direction. Pricing also plays a role, but not in the way people think. It's not cheap, it's accessible performance. And when word spreads that a pistol can disappear in stock overnight while still outperforming expectations, demand explodes. That's why gun stores can't keep it. Not because it's rare by design, but because once people understand what it really offers, they don't wait. They buy. Number 4. AREX Delta Gen 2M. When a pistol starts disappearing from shelves in under 48 hours, it usually means one thing: shooters discovered it before the market caught up. The AREX Delta Gen 2M is exactly that kind of situation. It doesn't come from the biggest American names, and that's part of why so many people overlook it at first. But once it's in hand, assumptions start falling apart quickly. This handgun is built around a modern striker-fired system that feels surprisingly refined for its price bracket. The grip angle is natural, almost instinctive, giving you alignment without needing correction. The Gen 2 improvements tighten everything: better ergonomics, improved slide geometry, and a trigger system that feels cleaner and more controlled than what most expect in this category. It doesn't shout for attention, it earns it through consistency. But here's where the story changes. Shooters who actually run this pistol start noticing something interesting. It behaves like a more expensive platform. Recoil is predictable, not chaotic. Follow-up shots come faster than expected. And the overall shooting experience feels complete, not experimental. The real reason it's selling out, though, is value perception shifting fast. Once a firearm proves it can compete with mainstream giants like Glock or SIG in real performance, not marketing demand, spikes instantly. Word spreads in training circles, range communities, and concealed carry groups, and suddenly availability becomes the problem, not performance. And that's the cycle the AREX Delta Gen 2M is stuck in right now. Underrated long enough to be discovered, but not stocked long enough to stay available. Number 3. CZ-P10C. When people talk about pistols that should always be in stock, the CZ-P10C quietly enters that conversation, and then immediately proves why it rarely is. This isn't a flashy, hype-driven handgun, it's a precision-built striker-fired system from CZ, a company known for mechanical honesty rather than marketing noise. And that alone already sets the tone. From the first grip, the P10C feels intentional. The ergonomics are aggressive in the right way: deep undercut trigger guard, textured frame, and a natural grip angle that forces your hand into alignment without adjustment. It doesn't feel like you're adapting to the gun. It feels like the gun is adapting to you. Then comes the trigger, which is where many shooters get surprised. It's clean, slightly rolling at first take-up, then snaps into a crisp break that feels far more refined than its price category suggests. Reset is short, tactile, and consistent, exactly what matters when speed becomes necessary. But here's why it keeps selling out in 4-8-hour windows. It doesn't rely on hype cycles. It relies on reputation built at ranges, in training classes, and among shooters who actually put rounds downrange. Once someone runs it side by side with more expensive competitors, the value gap becomes impossible to ignore. It's also built for abuse. The slide coating resists wear, the internals are over-engineered for durability, and reliability doesn't drop when conditions get harsh. That's why law enforcement interest and civilian demand often collide on this platform. The result? A pistol that never stays on shelves long enough for casual buyers, because experienced shooters already know exactly what it can do. Number 2. Glock 19, Gen 5. If there is one pistol that doesn't need introduction, it's this one. The Glock 19 Gen 5 isn't chasing trends, and it doesn't need to. It is the trend that everything else gets compared against. When people say trusted sidearm, this is usually the image in their mind, even if they don't say it out loud. The Gen 5 refinement feels subtle at first, but it changes everything under the surface. The removal of finger grooves gives the grip a more universal feel, making it adaptable to different hand sizes without forcing a fixed position. The marksman barrel tightens accuracy in a way that shows up most when it matters under speed, stress, or distance changes. And the trigger system, while still Glock simple, has a cleaner break and more predictable reset than earlier generations. But what really keeps the Glock 19 selling out isn't innovation, it's trust. This pistol has been tested in environments most firearms never face: law enforcement duty use, military applications, and decades of civilian carry. It doesn't rely on perfect conditions to function. It relies on mechanical consistency, and that consistency creates a ripple effect. Training institutions teach it, agencies issue it, civilians trust it. That overlap creates constant demand pressure, because everyone is pulling from the same supply pool. There's also a psychological factor. People don't buy the Glock 19 just because they want a gun. They buy it because they want certainty. They want a known outcome in an unknown situation. That's why it disappears in waves. Not because it's rare, but because it's the default choice when people decide they can't afford uncertainty anymore. Number 1. SIG Sauer P320 M.O.D. When a firearm starts selling out in 4-8-hour cycles, it usually means the market has reached a point where trust overrides curiosity, and the SIG Sauer P320 MOD sits right in that space. This isn't just another variation of a well-known platform, it's a mission-oriented evolution built around adaptability, modularity, and real-world readiness. At its core, the P320 system is already famous for one thing: flexibility. The fire control unit is the true heart of the platform, allowing the shooter to change grip modules, sizes, and configurations without replacing the entire pistol. The MOD variant takes that philosophy and sharpens it for practical, defensive, and duty use, stripping away unnecessary complexity while keeping the system's core strength intact. In the hand, it feels balanced in a way that doesn't draw attention to itself. The grip geometry promotes natural indexing, and the controls are placed where instinct takes over, rather than conscious adjustment. The trigger is consistent, with a smooth take-up and a clean break that supports both controlled precision and rapid engagement when needed. But what really drives its rapid disappearance from shelves is confidence in evolution. The P320 platform has already been adopted in military and law enforcement roles, and that kind of institutional validation feeds civilian demand instantly. When shooters see a system trusted at that level, hesitation disappears. There's also a practical appeal: one platform, multiple roles. Concealed carry, duty use, training setup, it adapts instead of requiring multiple firearms. That efficiency is exactly what modern shooters are chasing right now, and that's why it keeps selling out. Not because it's new, but because it solves more problems than most pistols ever attempt to. Outro. When you step back and look at all 5 pistols, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. This isn't just a buying trend, it's a shift in what shooters actually trust. From compact carry options to full-duty platforms, each of these firearms earned its demand through performance, not marketing. And that's why they vanish from shelves within hours. Because once people find something that works without hesitation, they don't wait, they act. Now, the real question is simple. Which one would you trust when it matters most?